first, we are so excited to launch our first Map to Mobility webinar. This is just a series of educational presentations. We're going to hold them 4 times a year. And then at the end of this webinar, there's going to be a brief survey along with questions where you could submit topics for future webinars. So we hope you fill out that survey. We have received hundreds of awesome questions from you all, and most are going to be answered in the presented material. We know each of you has a unique situation with unique needs, unique budgets. This information we're sharing today is available to the masses. It's a little more general in nature, but we don't want this conversation to stop today. This is meant for us to introduce ourselves and continue that conversation. Our ultimate goal, everybody on this screen and everybody at United Access, our ultimate goal is to help people get into a mobility device and make your life a little bit easier. So that's kind of the goal of today, is helping you get into those products. So we're just going to get started. Our agenda, we're just going to kind of go over kind of what's going to be covered. Like I said, it's going to be a generic presentation. There were some questions submitted about veterans, about some things that happen in your state. We want this to be information to be available for everybody, so we can handle those more on a one-on-one basis. And then just a brief intro to United Access for those of you who don't know who we are. And then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of our presentation. So United Access, we have 48 locations around the country. We started years and years ago, back in 1982, and our focus is putting customers in the right products. So we sell a lot of different mobility solutions. Everybody thinks of us maybe as a wheelchair accessible van company, but we also sell assist seating to help people get in, lifts for the back of your van, driving aids for people that just want to drive and don't need a ramp for their vehicle. And we're passionate about our commitment to our customer, and our goal is always to have a customer for life. So welcome all. And I am going to hand it over to Gary, who's going to start us talking about financing. So the products that United Access sell, what is available in terms of financing? Take it away, Gary.
Hey everybody, again, like Mobility, Monique said, I wanted to thank everybody for joining us, and can't wait to share some of this information. First off, we can finance pretty much everything that we have, not just the vans. We can finance something as small as hand controls, mobility scooters, mobility seating, which can be quite expensive. Some of those run to $12,000, and we do have financing options for those. We can finance a service bill. If you have a large service bill that you can't quite come up with at that time, we can also finance that out for you. We have rentals available at the dealership, and if you can't afford rental at that time, we can also finance a set term for a rental for you. We also offer extended warranty coverage, vehicle service plans, and we can finance those for you as well, to come out of a bank account or a credit card on a monthly basis, or you can do that through an unsecured link that we have. So as far as financing the mobility equipment and the service contracts and non-van products, it's simple, 60-second application. It's likened to a personal loan. There's no down payment needed or hidden fees. You can go out to 10 years on certain products, depending on how much you're financing. There's no prepayment penalty if you decide to pay off. If you finance for 7 years and you pay it off in 2, there is not one single prepayment penalty on there. It is very simple to do. As you can see, monthly payments with Ally's easy to navigate online experience. It's with Ally Lending, Ally Financial, and they have an arm that finances everything that we do other than vans. And then they also do vans through a separate credit line as well. So far as wheelchair accessible financing, we can offer loans up to 10 years because they're pretty expensive. There are some vans Depending on what you're buying, a brand new van could be $85,000, and if you're adding mobility equipment, you're approaching $100,000 pretty quick. So we can stretch that out over 10 years with approved credit and an approved down payment. We have clearly defined financing options. In other words, everything's spelled out for you. It tells you the term, the rate, what the payment is. It gives you all of that in your option that you choose. We very quickly answer when the applications come in and your salesperson has submitted a deal to us. We can usually have an approval for you in 2 to 3 hours tops. Sometimes I've had them come back as little as 45 minutes. The salespeople at the stores are there to also help you submit applications online. And if they're not available, then myself or my finance partner that is on the West Coast, we can help you as well. We also have a leasing option. It's called a 3E lease. What's really nice about it is this is wonderful for ALS patients and end-of-life patients that don't want to finance a vehicle for long term. And it's very simple. You fill out the application, you select the vehicle, you sign the lease agreement, and then you're rolling down the road. If you have to turn in your van, let's say you sign a 3-year lease, you turn in your van after a year, we have an option to buy that van. If it's something that we want, we buy it back. Then you have no charge whatsoever for turning that vehicle in as long as there's not damage to the vehicle. If we don't want the vehicle, you pay as little as $995 and you walk away from the lease. It's an easy exit lease, and it's a great product for our customers. Similar to a car, we offer trade-ins on accessible and non-accessible vehicles. So it doesn't have to be a wheelchair van to trade it in with us. We take those. We offer post-sale programs. We offer vehicle service contracts. These vans are very complicated with all the computers and the lifts and the ramps. So we offer vehicle service contracts to cover those. So your out-of-pocket expense is minimal. We have products that help protect against door dings, windshield chips, wheel rash, tire damage. We offer gap protection as well, should you have an accident with your vehicle and you are owing more than what your vehicle has a value on. So we do offer lots of products to protect you as well. Some of the financing questions that were pre-submitted to us, these were, I guess, the 6 most popular. Why are vehicle manufacturer rebates not available on accessible vehicles? The reason being is because we, as United Access, are not buying those vehicles from Toyota, Honda, Chrysler. We're buying them from Braun Ability, they're the ones that have bought those vehicles from the manufacturers. So we have an open MSO so that it's considered a new vehicle, but we are not eligible for those rebates, thus we can't pass them on to you. Now we do, if you purchase a brand new vehicle, you are available to receive the $1,000 mobility rebate from the manufacturer, and we can apply for that for you and have that sent to you. Where's the best place to start looking for funding when your credit score is not in the high zone? We don't just cater to somebody with a 750 or higher credit score. We have helped customers with sub 500 credit scores that have had a good down payment. Down payment always helps. So we can help folks in all different credit situations. Don't be afraid to give us an opportunity to see how we can help you. How can someone get financing for repairs to an existing mobility van? We can do that as well, as I mentioned before. We have a link that you can go to and fill out through Ally Lending, apply for the amount of your repair bill. It's immediate. You get an email response immediately back from Ally Lending. They will email you the contracts right to you and you sign them. And once that has been signed, your bill is paid in full. So it's very, very simple to do. Number 4, why aren't car manufacturers made to offer at least one mobility assist or handicapped vehicle at a reasonable price? I find it almost hopeless where I live and I have a lump sum to buy. So actually, one manufacturer did try to offer a mobility vehicle, some type of assistance. Toyota had one for a while where they had a center row seat that opened out, came out and loaded. The demand was not enough for them to keep producing that, so they stopped doing that on the new Siennas. It's basically a supply and demand for the manufacturers, and that's why we are here to assist in that. And I know sometimes the mobility products aren't the cheapest thing on the market, but that's why we're here to help with financing on any mobility product that you want, to try to make it affordable for you. Can I get financing for service and vehicle service contracts? Yes, as stated before. It's very simple. It's the same Ally lending contract. You can have an answer back in 2 to 3 minutes, and contracts emailed to you within 5 minutes. So it's a very quick and easy process. Number 6, if I purchase my own Toyota minivan that I want to have converted with a side ramp, can you still finance the ramp portion? So yes, again, and I know we're harping on this, but we would use the Ally lending on this. It can go up to $40,000 and out 10 years. So if you've got if you've got a conversion that's a $40,000 conversion, I can finance that whole thing, no money down, with approved credit for up to 10 years. And I mean, I don't know many other places that can do that. Now, I do want to also tell you that when you do that, you might get because that's why it goes back to question number 1. You might get the rebates from the manufacturer that they offer, but when we send your van away, there is a transportation charge that goes one way and a transportation charge coming back the other way. So sometimes you eat up the money you saved in a rebate on your transportation. Sometimes it's just as easy to go ahead and buy the van from us, and then you get the van right away instead of having to wait 60 to 90 days for the van.
Hey, Gary, I'd also like to caution that the assumption is all vans are convertible. And I know we've seen this where someone does that and then finds out their van cannot be converted. So
Right.
make sure you're working with your dealer before you even try that to make sure. But there is a risk there.
Right. And like Garrett said, there mileage and year restrictions. And also too, if the vehicle has a bad Carfax, we can't convert that as well. So, make sure you do check with the store. That's a good point. Thanks, Gerhard.
And before we leave, Gary, to go to Sunny to talk about Help Hope Live, United Access also can finance used wheelchair accessible vans, correct?
Yes, we have probably half of our inventory is pre-owned vehicles that go all the way back to a 2010 or 2011 right now, I think, in our inventory. But we offer financing on those as well.
Great, thanks so much. Okay, we are going to shift gears a little, and we're going to give the presentation over to Sunny with Help Hope Live, which is an organization that helps people fundraise to get into our products.
Thanks, Monique, and thank you everyone for joining us today and being here to listen about how all 3 of our organizations really are working together to help you gain your independence and get back on the road. So my name is Sunny Mullen. I am the Director of Outreach for Help Hope Live. We are a national organization here in the United States. We serve all ages in all 50 states and Puerto Rico to help individuals go into their communities to fundraise for all of their medical expenses and related costs. Vans being the #1 item that we help the mobility community fundraise toward. If you'll go to the next slide, and you can go past that even. So we help individuals by setting them up with campaign pages on our website and one-on-one client services coordinators that are here to truly help you walk through the entire process, support you throughout the entire time you're with us in your fundraising efforts by helping you write your story for your campaign page, create flyers, plan your fundraisers, are really here to help with all of that hand holding as much as you possibly need without being there in person with you. And once you go out and do the fundraising, whatever that might look like, whether it's in person, virtual. The funds then come back to Help Hope Live and are Help Hope Live assets. So they should not affect the individual's asset-based benefits or become taxable income to the family, which is a really big concern with this community. If you're on Medicaid, if you're on Medicare and you have income restrictions, we are here to safeguard those benefits that you have. Another big advantage is that we also medically verify everyone that we work with. So with our personal support, the way that we manage the funds and our medical verification, and since your community is donating to a nonprofit, all of their donations are tax deductible. So those are the major advantages of coming to work with Help Hope Live when you're thinking of doing your fundraising. And if you go to the next slide, I can talk about a little bit. And even beyond that, we talked about we medically verify everyone, and which is really important. But on the next slide, we can talk about some of the ways that, our custom campaign pages. This is where we really have the hub of your fundraising efforts on our website. This is where your coordinator can help you write your story. You can put pictures, videos. You can have your community subscribe to this campaign page so that anytime you write an update, they'll be automatically notified. They can donate right here. You can plan your fundraisers right through this campaign page. Everything you need to do is right here and easily customizable for you and your community. When you apply with us, you can then also give us permission to work with certain people, create a team around you who then have access to your campaign page and can maybe make updates on your behalf or submit expenses on your behalf. We will only ever work with individuals that we get permission to from the client, though. So we're always here to safeguard the individual themselves. On the next slide, we will talk about different types of fundraising examples. The biggest question is, if you're thinking about doing some fundraising, what does that even look like? Because we are a national nonprofit, fundraising looks very different to everyone. There's truly no fundraiser that is too big or too small. We have had clients have very successful major golf outings. We've had clients have very successful yard sales. Believe it or not, we've had clients raise over $10,000 at a yard sale. So we are here to help you plan that, help you figure out what your interests are, what types of communities are you already in that you can tap into. And then the coordinators, these are just some examples of the flyers that our coordinators are here to help you create. So we're all about being as creative as possible and finding that hook even. So if you'll see along these flyers, it's everything from bake sales to t-shirt sales, but even down to donate twice your shoe size. It can be as simple as that to have people really pique their interest and make a donation, because even donations of $25, $50 can make a huge impact on your campaign. Another thing we do, I believe on the next slide, is that we also provide all of our clients with personalized business cards that lead right back to their campaign page. So when you are out in your community, you can bring your campaign and your fundraising efforts everywhere you go. Maybe you strike up conversation. Maybe you're in your van that you need to replace, and someone comes up and starts asking questions about the van, and then you can talk to them about how you're starting to fundraise. Hand them one of your business cards and they can go right to the campaign page from there. You can leave these at coffee shops or local establishments. So we make this as easy as possible for you to share your story. And all of these materials that we're here to provide you and your team are free to our clients. We are here to help create this and help you be as successful as possible in your fundraising efforts. So we can go to the next slide. And obviously, today we are here to talk about vans and mobility equipment, anything that we can help get you back on the road, get you independent again. But here at Help Hope Live as well, we are here to help you fundraise toward anything related to the condition. So everything from those vans and ramps and driving assists, all the way to service animals, and maybe that second wheelchair that insurance won't cover, or a beach wheelchair, or different types of medication. So the list truly is never ending as to what we're here to help you safely and responsibly fundraise toward. First and foremost is that van, and then where do you want to go from there? And that's what we're here to really help you do. And when you are a Help Hope Live client, you are a Help Hope Live client for life. We are continuously helping our clients fundraise toward everything and anything they need as they continue to go through life and, maybe outgrow a chair, outgrow a van, and see where they need to go from there. On the next slide, I believe we talk about how we do this. So we've talked about the fundraising. We've talked about what our coordinators will do for you. Maybe you've gone out and raised those funds and now you need to pay some bills. When you have your campaign page, you have easy access to some paperwork that you might need. This is our fund request form, and you would download this from your campaign page and fill this out and just simply scan it to us from your computer with your bill and send it right to our finance team. So we make it as easy as possible. You can email it. You can still mail it if you prefer. If you're not a computer person, you can still mail it. And once we have all of the correct paperwork we need to pay that bill, it takes about 5 to 8 business days to fully get that bill paid for. But we like to pay directly to vendor as much as possible. We can reimburse for certain items. We have certain vendors out there in the world that offer discounts or services, and we are processing well over 4,300 of these a year. This is the hub and the center of what we do for our clients. We are here to help them pay their bills. So this is really we try to make it as easy as possible for everyone to do this. We work directly with the clients. You would work with the vendors. You figure out what you need. We're not here to tell you what you need or what which type of van you need to buy. You need to figure that out because they're all so specific. You then just send us the bill, and from the funds, we can help you pay for that. And I will say we can work with Gary. Even if you were working with Gary to finance your van, maybe you've fundraised $30,000. You can put that down payment toward that van and then work with Gary and his team to finance the rest. So that is where we can do partial payments as well if needed. We work with you to try to figure out the best way to make this happen. And we can also have your vendor sign up for direct deposit so that they can receive their funds a little quicker, a little easier as well to make this process a little faster for everyone involved. Going on to the next slide. All of this that we've talked about, between the materials, the support, the tax deductibility that we offer your community, everything we're here to offer you comes at no charge to the client and their family. We are here to help you and help you fundraise as much as we possibly can. There is a 3% administration fee that comes off of the donations that come in your honor, as well as a 2.65 credit card fee if the donors donate online. But donors can cover those fees if they choose, and we do see a lot of our donors choosing to cover those fees. And you can mail a check into our office if they want to avoid the credit card fee. But again, everything that we're here to do for you and with you is free to our families. So we are really focused on our clients and helping them pay their bills first and foremost. So again, working with Help Hope Live, we are here to help you safely and responsibly fundraise with our personal support, our tax deductibility. We also, with that tax deductibility, help you maximize your fundraising efforts. Because when you're fundraising with a nonprofit, you are then eligible to receive donations from corporations, matching gifts that maybe your friends or family have employers that do matching gift programs. And then since the way that we manage those funds allow you to keep your benefits and keep your family income secure. So we are really here to help you and your community be as safe and transparent as possible in this process. And with that, I think that is me and my information. If you have this, and it'll be on the recording as well, you can very easily reach out to me if you have any questions. And if you're interested in getting started with us, it is as easy as going onto our website and clicking the Get Started button. Our website is helphopelive.org, or you can call our 800 number at 800-642-8399 and simply speaking to a coordinator. They will send you an application. And once you get all that paperwork filled out, you'll have your medical verification form to send to your medical professional, and you'll be on our website. This process truly can take less than 24 hours. It really just depends on your motivation and how quickly you want to get started. So I really appreciate giving me the time to talk about Help Hope Live and how we work with all of these organizations. I'm going to answer some questions that came in ahead of time. So
Before we get started on
Yeah.
the questions, Sunny, that were submitted, there is a person on from Brazil and was asking if Hope lives in Brazil. And I know it's not, but
Yeah.
maybe if you start branching out, Brazil can be your first place to go.
I would love to personally make that trip to make Brazil our first country, by all means. Unfortunately, we are only sanctioned at the moment to fundraise in the 50 states and Puerto Rico. But I will say that if someone from another country is living in the United States as a community in the United States and is receiving their medical treatment here, they can fundraise. You don't have to be a citizen, you don't have to be a resident, you have to be living here and you have to have your medical professional here. So, someone from another country could fundraise here, but we aren't sanctioned to fundraise in other countries, unfortunately, at this point. So, but getting into these questions, let's see what came in. You guys had a lot of great questions ahead of time. So the first one is, can we help toward home disability modifications? And yes, that is absolutely one of many things that we can help our community fundraise toward. Like I said, our list is really infinite at this point, as long as we can link it back to the individual's condition. Sometimes we might ask the individual to provide a note of necessity from a PT or a physician if it's something we haven't heard of before. But home modifications is absolutely something we can help individuals fundraise toward. So the second question is, who in the disability community are you targeting? Are the options you will be discussing include options and answers for individuals on Medicaid, Medicare, income, and have restrictions due to their state's policies that have restrictions that will immediately deny services and income? So we, as Help Hope Live, assist anyone living with a major medical condition, from those needing life-saving organ transplants to those with catastrophic injuries to catastrophic illnesses. So spinal cord injury, traumatic brain injury, and all types of illnesses from CP, MS, muscular dystrophy. The list, unfortunately, just continues. And as I've mentioned, the way that Help Hope Live functions, since you are fundraising for Help Hope Live in your honor, the funds are Help Hope Live assets. And so therefore they should not affect the individual's asset-based benefits or become family income to them, any taxable income. So we do our best to make that, safeguard the individual as best as possible. We have been around for just over 40 years working in this manner. So it does work this way, that how we are able to safeguard the individual. All of the funds are held in regionally restricted accounts in honor of the individual, and then we pay your bills out of those regionally restricted accounts. Number 3 is there funding to help with rentals only? What is the cost for someone to write and or submit grants on their behalf? So as far as the rental question, we can help you fundraise toward renting a car if you need to rent an accessible vehicle to be able to get back and forth to medical appointments, or if you're traveling and need to rent an accessible vehicle. That is something we can help you fundraise toward. Absolutely. As far as the cost of someone writing or submitting grants on their behalf, we, as Help Hope Live, we aren't here to write grants on your behalf, but we can sometimes direct you if there are grant opportunities available to you, and maybe your community can help you apply for those grants. But we are here to help you fundraise in your community, and then we will use those funds to help with those expenses. The next question is someone who is looking to fundraise for twins, 18-year-old boys with SMA. And can you get funding only for a person or for a vehicle? So this is something that we've actually encountered, where we have individuals come to us, families that come to us that have 2 or more individuals in their family with similar conditions and want to start fundraising. We can set up a campaign for 2 people if you would like. And that's where we always will advise, especially if they are 18-year-olds, if they can make their own decisions and can have a say in it. If they want to fundraise together and are willing to share the funds that come in their honor, we can absolutely set up a campaign in their honor in both of their names. And then the campaign and those funds that are raised in their honor go toward all of their medical expenses, the van just being one of them. If in your eyes you're fundraising for a van, but all of a sudden tomorrow you need a new wheelchair, we're not here to say that, oh no, you were fundraising for a van, you can't get that new wheelchair. We're here to say, absolutely get what you need first. It's up to you to figure out how you want to use those funds that you're raising. We just restrict it by condition, and as long as the expense is related to that condition. But we absolutely can help two individuals that have similar conditions. And the next question is, are you able to help a nonprofit entity with a grant to pay for a mobility equipment? So we've come across this a lot where nonprofits do ask us if we would be able to help them. We aren't generally able to do this just because another nonprofit already has their 501c3 fundraising status. It wouldn't necessarily make sense for us to then help a nonprofit fundraise, but we can help the individuals that they might be servicing. We can help their individuals and their community fundraise. But usually with nonprofits, we would advise them, since they already have their 501c3, they could go ahead and receive tax deductible donations already. And we certainly can talk to them and see if we can advise them in one way or another, but it makes sense mostly for donations to already go through their charity. And last but not least is, are there income limits? So with what we do, like I said, we've been around for just over 40 years. We do have, as part of the application, some financial information. And I will say we go off the federal poverty level. So for the injury and illness community, we gather household income, and it goes off of 14 times the federal poverty level for the injury and illness community. So as long as that household level is not over 14 times that federal poverty level, we almost, and then even at that, we can appeal and try to see the fuller picture. We have maybe turned away in our 40 years less than 5 people because they made too much money. We fully understand that even a well-off family, if they all of a sudden are faced with a spinal cord injury or a major illness, they're looking at almost $1 million a year right off the bat. So we are not looking to turn people away if we don't have to. And with that, I think, if anyone has any questions, please reach out, helphopelive.org. We are here to help you fundraise, to work with Gary, and I will pass it off to Gerhard to let you know how we also work with Bridge to Mobility.
All right, I got to take myself off mute. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank United Access for putting this and this series of webinars together. I think it's absolutely fantastic idea. And with Help Hope Live, have done a lot of work with Help Hope Live. The scope and the breadth of what they're able to do can provide a lot of assistance and the flexibility as things change to move them around. And this is a strategic partnership, and together we're accomplishing more. So without United Access and Brawn Ability, I'd like to tell you, we wouldn't be here today. So there were 3 organizations that were doing this. Over the years, they had all ceased and folded. And so we came up with a collaborative effort of this entire industry to put this organization together. And I have we're a 40-person, all volunteer team that works at the grants and all the administration and the fundraising and all that. And we partner with these companies and mission-aligned nonprofits, of which Help Hope Live is one, to go ahead and help people get accessibility, help wheelchair users get accessibilities. We are also a nonprofit, and our mission is a grant up to $5,000 to make owning a WAV possible. Our core values, we're very excited about the impact and what we're doing, being inclusive, empowering people, and being absolutely transparent. And as far as we know, we are the only charity that is solely focused on this issue. Next slide, please. So we work with a number of nonprofits, and this list is growing. And what that means is there may be various persons working with the finance team, such as Gary, at putting together the equity, the down payment. And if they're still short, we're a resource that they can come to. And these are just some of the charities that we have worked with over the past year to go ahead and make owning a WAV, a wheelchair accessible vehicle, a possibility. And probably the number one partner that we have, in fact, today before I came down here, I was working on a grant that our organization will be reviewing that Help Hope Live was also involved in. They're our number one partner. We've probably done many, many deals, and I always encourage people to try to work with Help Hope Live. They're very successful. They bring a lot of tools, and they make it easier to get there. Don't give up. Everyone's astounded by the prices. You've got to just roll up the sleeves and get the process started. So these are just some of the charities. There's more getting added every day. So how we work is simple. We work through the National Mobility Dealer Association Network, of which United Access is a key member. This allows us to go ahead and attack 300 markets out there and provide services for up to 300 markets. The reason we choose to do this is basically safety and all the tools that NMITA dealers are required to have for their clients. They're audited once a year. They're required to have 24 hours, 7-day-a-week service. The vehicles that they're selling have manufacturer quality assurance program. That means they meet NHTSA and Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards. They're required to keep up to date on the training. They're required to do a final inspection prior to the sale. They label the vehicle. They're accredited. They are adequately insured, and they provide warranted solutions for the client. So we felt that that was just the safest way to provide our grants to the community. So they have a dealer network. We talked about in certain situations, it's a requirement in 34 states, if there's some type of state funding involved, that an NMITA dealer be involved. One of the things that I think is most beneficial, and Gary talked about this, is the breadth of the financing solutions that they offer, along with the fact that these are tailor-made for wheelchair accessible vehicles. And they have great expertise. So with that, so our application process, how does it work? First of all, we collect some background information. And I want to point out that the NMITA dealer provides the application on behalf of the client. So you start with your dealer. He contacts us, we get him an application form. Chances are he already has it. So he collects background information, the financial sources, and how that is to be used, what funding sources there. We have a line for Help Hope Live, vocational rehab, Medicaid, church, family and friends, all those alternative sources that are coming to this to see if our funding is needed. We follow up if there's any questions and prior to submitting it to an independent grant committee. The grant committee does not know who the dealer is, so there's no chance of any favoritism. It is strictly based on the exact situation. The grant committee reviews it. They typically will provide a response within 24 to 72 hours. There may be some follow-up, and we will contact the dealer, and they'll make the decision, the final decision, like I said, in 24 to 72 hours. And then we will fund the dealer directly upon delivery, making sure that it doesn't impact any of your benefits or any other financial impact like taxes or anything like that. We fund the dealer directly on behalf of the recipient. Now, I want to point out we're a last dollar funding organization. That means that everything is all put together and there's still $5,000 needed, or up to $5,000 needed. That's when we come in. We love to see alternative funding sources in the deal, such as Help Hope Live, family, churches, family, friends, state and government, all that. Our grants can improve the equity to be used for the financing. It's very typical. They're still financing it with all these other sources, and then ours can go ahead and be used as additional equity. And like I had said, we only work with the Nemeda network of dealers. Next slide, please. So supporting us, we are a fairly new organization. We basically launched the fourth quarter of last year. We've been around all of 2023, but we were just getting set up. So follow us, like us, check us out. If you have worked with us, please share your story. And you're more than welcome to become a mission team member. And with that, I think I have some questions that came up. Okay. Which one is the best way to apply for a grant? Simply contact your dealer, tell them you've heard about our organization, and he will look us up. Good chance if you're working with United Access, chance they're going to know about that and they'll know how to get a hold of me. And that's how we start the process. We have already purchased a wheelchair accessible SUV. Do you help with payments? I Googled when purchasing a vehicle for a type of grant, unfortunately came up empty-handed. We are not able to help with payments. Our mission and our charter is, helping people get the wheelchair accessible vehicle. We are not able to help with any type of payments. Okay. Are there grants available to non-related caregivers who drive someone with a disability? I'll start out with the answer is yes. I'm a host home provider for a man with developmental disability and who's wheelchair dependent. My agency requires host home providers to provide their own transportation, but our family is growing. We will outgrow our side loading ramp very soon and need a full-size van, which is very pricey. We have funded a number of caregiver transports. Typically, they're within the family. They're not a commercial relationship. So we aren't able to do commercial relationships, but if you are a caretaker of someone who is wheelchair dependent in a wheelchair, and I'll just give you an example. We've helped, parents with disabled children. I've done a grandmother the parents died and she's taking care of the disabled grandchild. We do get involved doing grants for those. When applying for grants, who helps you write them? The grants it's a very simple application process. We collect some information and your dealer's salesperson will usually be involved in writing the grant on your behalf. Okay.
Okay, I think that's it for our pre-submitted questions. And I think there was a couple that came through the chat. So Emma, if you want to check there. But I wanted to also make sure, like I said at the beginning, that we're continuing this conversation. This was just kind of an introduction to us and what is available with these two amazing organizations and our what we can finance locally. So at unitedaccess.com, we have a location page. You can chat with us, call us, email. So we try to make it as easy as possible to connect with us and get us to help you get into those products. So Emma, I'll leave it to you. Any questions come in?
Yes, we do have a couple here. The first one says, I am trying to get back to work after being disabled. What programs are available to me?
That's a great question. And this probably goes into that more state-based. Every state has a vocational rehabilitation program, and their sole goal is to help people with disabilities get back to work. So our local United Access stores can get you in touch with those local vocational rehab programs, and we do a lot of work helping people get back to work. So thanks for that question.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Monique, I'd also like to point out our Education and Awareness Committee, which was part of our volunteers, they on the how to apply page of our website has a list, and you just click on that state and it tells you state resources, not only for vocational or rehab, but some veterans and crime victims and anything that's particular to that state. There's a resources tab by state that they can go ahead and find organizations. But I agree, the dealer will be most intimately knowledgeable about which entities. You know, we cover the entire country. We're not going to have the detailed information.
Yep, yep. Okay, Emma, any other questions come in?
Yes. Where do I go to find out if I have funding available to me as a disabled veteran?
Okay, another great question. Veterans have some great opportunities to get into our products. Again, I would encourage you to visit our local dealer, and they can get you in touch with your local Veterans Administration and Paralyzed Veterans Association National Service Officer. They help people get into products all the time, and there's new benefits that are coming out. We just passed a bill last year, the government, and extending benefits to disabled veterans. So get in touch with us and we'll connect you with the right people.
Just a couple more. Are there grants or loans available for repairs to an existing mobility van?
I think, Sunny, you touched on this a little bit.
That is, yeah, I can say that is something that we can help you fundraise toward. Once we help you fundraise toward your van, the maintenance and the general upkeep are expenses that we can help you continually fundraise toward as well. So that is something that falls within our purview of fundraising.
Okay, anything else coming, Emma?
That was it.
Okay, looks like some things might have come in that are very specific to you and an individual, which we can take on as a one-by-one basis. So we do have all that information, and we'll get back to you individually. We so appreciate your time. Thank you, Gary, for all of your education on how to finance, and then Sunny with Help Hope Live. Thank you, with your amazing organization, and we love what you do. And Gerhard, welcome to the party and the industry with Bridge to Mobility. And we look forward to putting a lot of people in some accessible vehicles and products. So,
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.